Okay, I think AMD may have performed a little bit of technological alchemy here. And, we could say it's either 2 years too late or, a little too late or whatever it is we want to categorize it as. And they let NVIDIA basically run wild here while they had the opportunity to do something really cool in the last generation. No qualms with that. In fact, I actually do hold that position now that I'm doing this benchmark on this gear. There's a lot of diagnostics nonsense going on, but let me show you a few things. So, one of the reasons I'm saying this is simply because when we take a very close look at the hardware that's actually doing this, I think it's of note that there's some really interesting pieces to the entire puzzle. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if you take into account the CPU and GPU combination, that's where things get a little bit interesting overall. Number one, this CPU is a Ryzen 5 7500F. It's a 6 core processor. It's only available in China, and you can get it on AliExpress for under $130. It's actually a very funny CPU because some of the things that I've been seeing this stuff do, perhaps maybe it's because I've been on AM4 and I've just probably been enjoying that, and I'm like, oh, AM5 is quite surprising that this CPU is throwing these throwing this level of haymakers in terms of punches. GPU is a 9070 XT. Shout out to BH for putting me on a waiting list and saying, hey man, here you go if you want to get one. And Gigabyte, y'all put a little bit of butter on that thing, but it is what it is. And I can say that the performance that I'm seeing here from this graphics card for the price ratio compared to about 2 years ago when the 4080 came out is a little surprising to me in a good way. Could we say it's a little late? Perhaps if AMD had been a bit more competitive in its pricing, they had the opportunity to capture the market back then, and this would have sealed the deal for the mid range market. I just feel like they lost a very serious opportunity last time that I'm seeing what I'm seeing right now. Now, you may ask, so what is it you're seeing, VG? And ladies and gentlemen, it's the fact that this particular put together, that's the CPU GPU combination, and I'm only using 16 gigs of RAM. So whatever that would amount to in another world is in a place where I'm running this bad boy at 4K, no upscaling, put away everything, right? And I am asking it to maybe see if it can render about 90 FPS for me. At the same time, though, I am capturing footage from the exact same computer. I have not installed OBS on the capture PC and all that. Hopefully, we'll do that pretty soon. But this is just a realistic picture. On the top right corner, you can see some more metrics: GPU temperatures, CPU temperatures, FPS, and all of that stuff. You can take a look at that for yourself. I mean, I haven't really gone ahead to do too much, but I am just quite surprised. And for recording purposes, you're going to lose FPS, especially at 4K. And sorry, I didn't even show you this. It's on the highest settings. So this is where I'm saying I want to push all the envelopes and I want to see what happens here. So what I've noticed is in 4K, you got to give a little bit of leeway. There's a huge percentage drop in recording at 4K compared to, the percentage drop that you see at 1440. I guess because your GPU is also helping with some of the video encoding and stuff, you get to see that drop. But to me, if we go droppy and we don't, pretty much dip too far and we can maintain an average 60 FPS while capturing at the highest settings, I think we have ourselves a winner after 2 years. Now, this is a much more dense area on the map, so you're seeing those frame spikes, but I'm almost, you know what? Let me not say anything until I make my way in there. And then we're going to, basically figure out what it would do indoors. Indoors really gives you a solid indication of if all things are pretty, what happens. So let's go inside and see our FPS. Our FPS is now going up to 68, 69, 70, and it's at 70 FPS or maybe a little more on average when we're in here. Let me see. Is anybody in here that can catch me? Let's get up there. All right. So indoors, I'm looking at 70 FPS. When some VFX fire and all that stuff, you might get me down to maybe a little bit of 60 FPS and such, but the highest settings in everything, including environmental density and all that, these are things that I take time to remove from the equation. Another reason that I usually benchmark Gotham Knights is because it's a game that I play a lot of. So usually games that I'll play a lot of that really are worth a benchmark, you'll see me benchmark. I mean, I'm not gonna, be benchmarking like Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't really play the game much. So again, and I am downloading it too. I will benchmark it, but it's not like, oh, let me go benchmark Red Dead Redemption 2. Don't play it, right? Okay. Now, in terms of some, giving some leeway, let's see what reducing the environmental density to high would do. What does that do for me? Okay. Do you see the delta? Okay. I'm seeing some tweaks. You know, I'm seeing some debit being paid my way. I'm seeing some frames being debited to me after reducing the environmental density. And obviously, I don't see too many, changes. Now, this big fire pit inside of this building, as this is an Unreal Engine 4 game, is a FPS, sucker. Like, that's one thing people may not know. Like, just a simple fire piece can also be something that, takes a little bit of performance away from you. But I'm very surprised that these fools over at the AMD side, they pulled it off. I'm surprised. And they pulled it off not just for that, but for the price point that you can actually go ahead and get it for, which to me, like I said, their 7900 XTX should have probably been somewhere around here. Oh, they've seen me already. All right, let's fight. Okay, he's done. Where are you guys? Where are the rest of you? Look at that. Dude, loop that through. Do you see that? There was no projectile in this world. I was about to say. What's my FPS looking like? I'm still doing 4K 60. Everything highest. Hit him with the secret sauce. Yeah, buddy. Come on, I want to get you with the what a gift. He's gonna hit me. What is this? What is this? Nope. Oh, this one is rezzing everybody. I need to take you out. Look at that. All right, all of you in that corner, just hold that damage there. I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna get hit. I heard him coming. Okay, since you guys want to play dirty, look, I got surrounded in here. Nope, I'm not gonna let you res this person up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Who is this big guy? Hey, 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 yeah. I'm just taking damage like crazy. What the heck? Let's do that again. Hit him with the open him up, and then hey. Nope, you're not gonna hit me with that. Open him up. And wham! Is he down? Oh, there he is. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. 4K gaming at the price point that AMD is targeting, they need to own the mid-range market. You don't need to go ham to do it. You just have to provide the value. AMD has been known for the value, and that's exactly where they need to be. Now, obviously, when you think about it, like, you go look at the Steam, hardware survey, NVIDIA is still holding it down, but their technologies, are why people buy NVIDIA graphics cards. They're like, well, maybe one day I'm going to want to use CUDA or whatever it is. No problem. However, if AMD continues to rasterize like this and not go, too crazy into all of the different gimmicks and all that, I think they'll be fine. They just need that mid-range pricing to be able to do some stuff and just come out and say, hey, 4K for $600 and just walk away. That's how it should be. Just say that. You know, like Nvidia was so bold. They literally said 4090 performance for for 599 or something silly like that. And that's not the case. But they walked out with boldness and just said something that was not, a realistic picture. When you kind of look at it like, okay, what are you talking about? Right? Whereas AMD, they literally are sitting on it right here. They could just say it. 4K performance for blah, 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 blah. And boom. Simple. I guess maybe, when you're not the market leader, you don't have the right to basically say much, or maybe they're just being modest and are probably, taking their time to establish something. But I think they're very close to it. If it wasn't for the way they missed out on last generation and the opportunities that they had there, I really think they did have something pretty cool. I can't believe I'm capturing at some of the highest, settings, mostly highest settings. And then at the same time, I'm still, let's see what happens here. Oh, I only dropped 2 FPS with all of that. Interesting. Then it dropped like another 5 FPS. But at this point, 4K 60. And again, I'm recording, so, give me my 5 FPS anytime. I don't see any reason why AMD should waste any more time in capturing this market. I don't see any reason why they should. If they don't capture this market by the end of this release cycle and this release generation, then I don't know what else they're going to be able to do when it comes down to it. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you guys' time and audience. And yeah, we'll be looking at some other old games. I really like old games. And once the game gets older, it's like it gets better. It's like wine. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace out.